And now we are moving on to our next speaker, Magali Biron. You're already with us. I saw, yeah, here you are. Welcome. Magali is Vice President Business Development of eSign at our partner Nitro. And in her role, she is responsible for the international expansion of Nitro's strategic partner and customer network. She guides a wide range of Nitro partners and customers and assists them in efficiently deploying Nitro's solution and achieving their business goals. Magali, welcome on stage. And if I may, so many participants have been asking for this session and now we are really looking forward to hear what you're doing. And not only your topic is important, the importance of eSignatures, but also my advice to use the chat and to comment on the presentation for an exchange afterwards. So Magali, with this, I would hand over to you and I will be back on stage after your presentation.
Perfect. And I hope you can hear me all well. So that's
yes,
a first check. Super. Let me share my screen as well. So we know that everything is set. And then I can keep going. So do you all see my screen well? Perfect. And now I also thank you for introducing me in a very nice way. Now I have to live up to everything you said, Esther. So let's hope I can do that. But indeed, I'm Magali Biron, and I have been working for now, I think, 13 years in the identity and e-signatures world. Before we start, I just wanted to give you what we will do a bit today. So I will introduce Nitro, so you know where I'm coming from and why I have the opportunity to speak here. And then I will explore a bit with you why we find it very important that there's a lot of compliance and identity when using e-signatures. I will also, if the time permits, give you a short checklist that is very important when you choose an e-signature solution, and then some Q&A. And I heard the last question as I was here in the previous session, so don't worry, I will also share the slides afterwards with you, so you have all information that I will talk to you about. So first things first. So yeah, I joined Nitro, and now I'm responsible for the strategic partnerships and our business and our customers in the eSign world. And at Nitro, basically, we live, breathe document productivity, and we really can't imagine a better way of partnering with you so that we can make your digital journey smooth, effective, but certainly keeping in mind all the highest security and trust standards. How we do that is by offering our productivity platform. So Nitro does more than e-signatures alone. We basically touch upon every step of the document lifecycle, going from all kind of PDF editing tools to enterprise e-sign solutions that can be integrated in your workflows or in standalone via API or other ways. And of course, what's also more important is that we keep track of every analytic to give you insights in how your processes are used, and you can serve your customers in the way they expect it. But I'm not here to promote our business today. I'm here mainly to give you some insights on the importance of identity. The reason I was allowed to speak here, of course, is also because, Nitro Sign might not be the most known today in your ears, but we joined we have been elected as one of the challengers of the big players in the market, mainly because of our strategy and our view on the importance of identity and everything that's going on, like the previous speakers on the eID wallets, etc. So why is it then so that compliance and identity matters so much? And I'm not giving you the full then and now view, but since a couple of years, and certainly since the pandemic, everybody sees a huge rise in online services and transactions. And at the same time, the data that is used digitally and the sensitiveness of these transactions is growing. We can imagine transactions that a couple of years ago, like a live loan or buying a house, were too sensitive to be conducted digitally. But now it's like the normal business to do everything online. And mainly this has been pushed and really accelerated due to the pandemic that we all lived. And we stay a bit in the work from everywhere, business from everywhere trends. And to be able to do so, we really need digital tools and at hands to guarantee this business continuity. So I'm not saying, and we all know that the advantages of going digital are obvious, numerous. It minimizes paperwork, it accelerates everything. But it also means that more and more of our customer data is online, is stored in a digital sphere. And where before, indeed, we had the risk of losing things, spoiled coffee or unruly filing cabinets that could mess up our paperwork. But today we see more and more increase in cybersecurity attacks and noticed contract changes. We have a lot of identity theft and impersonation. So it's really, really important that you as a company can trust, the tools you're using. And that is why today I really would like to emphasize on the importance of identity when using and implementing eSignatures. So together we will talk about how identity in eSignatures can really secure your digital transactions in the best possible way. So, in the recent years, eSignatures have become really popular. So as a way of electronic sign and validate documents. But one critical aspect, as I already mentioned, is the identity verification, because that part ensures that the person that is signing is really the person they claim to be and that you expect to sign these documents. And let's start at the beginning for that, because how can you achieve compliance and how can you achieve that guarantee and that signer assurance in the eSign world? And basically, it all comes back to two big items: the identity verification and the integrity of the document. So you can imagine if they're sitting in front of you or I'm sitting in front of you with my identity card, well, the identity of the signer is known. But in remote scenarios, you should be able, or you should be wanting to be confident that the signature is created by the one that is intended by me and that I'm Magali and that I claim to be Magali. The second part, of course, is that you can guarantee that once signed, the document can't be altered anymore after signature. So let's go to the first part of how can I be sure of the identity of my signer. So as said already, identity verification is a really critical step in the eSign process because it will ensure that the signer is authorized, first of all, to see and sign the document, because without proper identity verification, well, anybody could potentially sign or sign a document in somebody else's name or forge even a signature on a contract. And this could result in very legal actions against the signer or the invalidation of your whole process. And to prevent these types of challenges, most signature providers propose and typically use a variety of identity methods that go from a lower identity assurance to a very high. So I'm talking about in the lower phase, uploading a digital image of a signature, manual scribble, typing your name and having it in a handwritten font, going to an SMS or mail code, or capturing the biometrics of a signature. And in a high way, you really have the possibility to use an identity card or a face-to-face identification via video or live, or even using the available digital identity methods. So identity verification is really important to protect your business and even your individuals from fraud. Because in that way, by knowing who is the signer and knowing the identity of the signer, you can really prevent unauthorized access to all your sensitive information. And you can really believe that the persons are who they claim to be and that the signatures on their documents are legally binding. So if we go to the second part, how can I then guarantee the integrity of the signed document? So another very important aspect of identity verification is the ability to track and audit all signature activity and to guarantee the integrity of the signed documents. And with integrity, I mean that the document can't be altered after signatures. That's the document that has been shown to the person is really the document signed, and after signature, it can't be altered. This is something that really can be easily guaranteed when the solution relies on cryptography-based technology, meaning that we seal off the document and every change after signature will result in invalidated signatures. So this is really important, and having track of who signed, when, how, should be in an audit trail, and really preferable even inside the signature itself, so that with one signed document, you have all the data and documentation you need to prove that the integrity and the legal value of your documents. So this brings me to a next question, because I'm saying here how important identity is, how important identity verification is, and the integrity of the document is very, very, very important. So do I always need to choose for the signature methods with the highest possible identity verification? And the answer is maybe surprisingly, no, not always. It depends on a lot of cases on which signatures type you use or have to use in your business processes. And in order to give you a clearer view on this and being able to answer this question, let's go back to the 3 new known signature types that are recognized under eIDAS. And basically, mainly based on the 2 items that we previously discussed, being identity verification and integrity. So most of you will already know, but indeed we have 3 levels of signatures that are recognized: the simple electronic signature, the advanced electronic signature, and the qualified electronic signature. Meaning that you can see a lot of these elements coming back. All 3 should, in my opinion, you should choose a solution where in all 3 signature methods, the integrity of the document is guaranteed. And when is that integrity of the document guaranteed? Well, if the signature solution is based on cryptography, meaning certificates are used that guarantee that the content of the document can't be changed anymore. Are all these 3 signature types legally valid? Yes. The difference relies in the way of guarantee of the identity, whereas within a simple, it's low, and with an advanced and qualified, you go to substantial and high. I put some examples of signature methods in here, and we will send you the slides afterwards, that mainly are used and in most cases result in a simple, advanced, or qualified signature. So here, I now explained the 3 types, whereas with a qualified, it's often identity cards or digital ID means, etc. The simples are mainly manual scribbles, handwritten fonts, and so on. My question was, should I always use qualified, meaning where the identity verification is highest? Why did I say no? Let me give you an example of a use case. Imagine I'm at a point of sales, or I'm even going to my private banker, where I will meet somebody face to face, where they have the possibility to check my identity card, and where the expectations of the customer mainly are, I have a personal relationship, I'm used to signing on paper. Should I use a qualified there? In my opinion, no, because there you can really choose between the user experience you want to give and the risk. The risk is low because we have face-to-face verification. I want to offer the manual scribble because that means that my customers will feel more at ease. So that is, of course, the choice you can make there. But for example, if I'm offering new loans or new rental agreements or high value contracts remotely, of course, there you want to know who I am and have a certainty of who I am. And you want to use there the highest identity verification where that is available in that country. Second question you should ask yourself is, now that you know those 3 types, is, okay, do I have legal obligations or restrictions or limitations in my country on certain documents? Because that's often the case, and I'm speaking, for example, in a certain country for HR, labor agreements, it has to be qualified. For example, that is a rule that exists in some European countries. So this is something that you should keep in mind. Are there legal obligations, restrictions to choose the right signature for your documents? And then the third one, and for that one, I'm going to the next slide, is also what is available in my country. And this is just an example of some countries in Belgium, Netherlands, France, etc. An example can be, for example, in the Nordics, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, they are using since years and years their bank ID or their MIT ID or whatever. And if there we're going to come over, okay, we have the highest qualified electronic signature, but it doesn't make use of bank ID, they're not going to accept it. So in those regions, offering signatures, utilizing this bank ID, MIT ID is the best way to go because they do it for everything. They trust it. It has a high trust, and that is something that we see where the highest adoption will lie. In other countries, such as in mine, I'm from Belgium, we have the Belgian eID card, It's Me. There, of course, we use it for everything. So we don't want to go to something else because we're so used to using our ID card or It's Me that we really don't want anything else. Okay, but now you will say, what do I do in countries where there's no ID, no bank ID, no It's Me, nothing available? Well, there it's important that you choose a solution where you can rely on partners such as Swisscom that authorize you to generate a qualified or advanced signature based on a video identification. And that is something that you should also keep in mind. Don't over charge when in your country there's one mean or identity mean available to sign. So a little recap of this elaboration of mine. I feel like I talk so much, but finding the right solution really requires to pose yourself three questions. Does the law require a specific level of compliance, security, and legal value for documents? What are the available and adapted identification solutions that are available? And balancing basically the attributed risk versus the customer experience that you want to offer. So in short, for me, this was what I wanted to tell you about the importance of identity in signatures, because as you can see, the identity verification, knowing who signs and that it's the person who claims to sign and has access to that document, can really prevent fraud and risk for your business and customers. So if you have to choose for a signature solution, what should you keep in mind? And don't worry, I'm not giving a commercial sales talk, but it's very important that you have some kind of checklist in doing so. Just check that there's an availability of wide variety of signature methods. Why? Because you can imagine that for one business department, at a point of sales, at your counters, in your face-to-face scenarios, you want to have some signature methods that are available, like the manual scribble, so you can offer that user experience to your customers. For other elements, like, for example, a loan application, I'm not saying the loan signature or something else, you can maybe make use of the email, SMS, OTP, because everybody uses his cell phone and mail today. So that's the most common way of using and signing and feeling very comfortable to sign documents while having quite some compliance. And then for your other highly valued and important documents that you can use qualified digital signatures. Why do you see a lot of different European signing methods up here? Because this means that if you have customers from another nationality, that you can also serve them, or that you can choose one solution for all your offices out there. Very important. Like the previous session also imagined, that you have a proof of legal compliance and the certifications that are available, like the qualified trust service providers, GDPR, ISO certifications, etc. The ease of use, certainly, of your solution, that you really check what you need. Does it has what my employees want me to have? The integration possibilities, are there connectors? Is there an API available? Can you do whatever you want to do with it? And then, of course, the data residency, because with the GDPR of today, it's very important that some guarantees can be made of the data residing in Europe, or more specifically in a region. And that's it. So for me, I saw that there are some questions, so I think we will keep it quite interactive on the Q&A on what you want to know. You can ask everything you want from me today.
Perfect. Thank you very much for this interesting talk. And I think the importance of e-signatures is now clear to everyone. And yes, there are questions, but I'm the moderator, so I would take the chance and ask the first question. There's a huge debate about AI, ChatGPT, AI Act, and what's so on. And do you think AI will also be more and more utilized and included in e-signing platforms? And how could it look like?
Yeah, for sure. And that's something that we and a lot of others are already busy with. Basically, a signature method that is proposed based on AI, on the content of the document, or on the value of the document that it proposes in SES, QES, AES. So that's something that is already, that you see growing. So that's because... the thing I often receive is, Magali, you're speaking of all those available methods, but how on earth should I teach all my employees what to choose, when to choose it? Is it always legal that should propose that? And such AI implementation will help as well, such processes in there. I strongly believe that AI will have its good use and find its way into the e-sign world as well.
Hey, thank you. Now a question from the audience, from Nina. I would just read it out loud. Could biometrics or other remote identity verification methods be used under the Article 24.1 of the eIDAS 2.0? Okay,
I'm trying to
okay.
as well, yeah.
With the other identification methods which ensure the identification of the natural person with a high level of confidence. What would be your answer?
For QES, well, I'm not a lawyer. Let's make that clear. So that's something I will say. For QES, I don't believe so at the moment. But for AES, yes, one of the biometrics, for example, that is already resulting in AES is the biometrics of how you sign. So therefore, there are methods that capture your pressure points, velocity of how you sign with a pen onto a tablet. And those biometrics are captured inside the signature and result in an advanced electronic signature, because that biometric profile is unique to yourself. But currently, it's not unique enough to result in a qualified signature. Now, I also receive a lot of question. Your fingerprints, can that not result in a qualified signature or anything else? But at the moment, the devices that are mainly used, you can have multiple fingerprints in one device. So you won't know, is it the one holding the device, Magali, or her boyfriend, or anyone else? So at the moment, this is also more seen as an authentication to prove it's me, but not as my unique biometrics. So currently, my answer would be no. But science is growing so much. So I wouldn't exclude that in the future, that will be one of the items, like your iris or whatever, to result in a qualified signature, but today not.
Okay, thank you. Sticking to the topic of eIDAS, is there more interest in digital signatures and digital identity since the discussion on eIDAS 2.0?
Since 2.0, I think it has already been, and certainly in Europe, and with joining Nitro, we saw the different value that is attached to digital signatures. In US, less. In Australia, it starts, but in EU, everybody knows now what a qualified signature is. I mean, okay, there are exceptions, but everybody knows that. I know there are a lot of questions for eIDAS 2.0 and a lot of hopes that there will be some guidance around electronic archiving, because around electronic signatures it's there. So the hopes are up, and digital signing. I don't think that we can think of digital business without it anymore, because it's what keeps us connected to each other if we're remote.
Okay. Then a personal question, or from the chat from Vincent. What is your favorite identification method for QES?
For me in Belgium? In Belgium, it's me. So I can't say anything else. But there's so many methods that I love in the world. I love to use Swisscom outside of Belgium. I don't know. I can't think of anything more user-friendly than being able to sign off on my personal things, even from my sofa, without having to go there. So I'm very happy that those methods are available, and that partners of us are creating such methods.
Okay, thank you. And which burdens hinders you to work on the topic, to do your business, and what would you wish for that politics change? So if you have one wish, what should it be?
Yeah, one wish would be that people already see that even the simplest electronic signature is already way more safe than a manual signature on paper, because you don't know where it comes from. You don't have any clue. You have nothing to know that. I'm eagerly waiting on the eID wallets as well, because that's something that will be very nice for Europe, I think. For politics, I'm always afraid to have aspirations when it comes to politics, and I hope nobody shoots me on that expression today. But I hope that they keep working on a unified platform for digital business, both in identity archiving and signatures, and that they don't exclude private or banking initiatives, but that they join hands, that the governmental, private, and banking experts or really good people or initiatives join hands instead of competing each other. That's my aspiration.
Okay, thank you for this. There was a question in the chat. How would you argue that SMS? Okay, I don't know the abbreviation, so maybe Magali, you can read the question and answer it from Matthias, or Matthias, you can unmute you and ask your question, because it's a bit longer.
Yeah, OTP.
Oh, one-time password. Okay.
Yeah, that is, and that's also something, again, I'm not a lawyer, so that's something that we had assessed by DLA Piper. So by default, if it's just an SMS OTP or a mail OTP that has not been verified at all, it can be considered, it's by default considered as a simple electronic signature. In some ways, it can become an advanced electronic signature if some of the requirements are fulfilled. For example, that there has been an onboarding where the cell phone has been verified, that it belongs to myself or to anybody else in person, and then afterwards you can sign. It's what DLA Piper or somebody else told me, so I personally can't argue or won't argue, and will follow what is said by people smarter than me. But the most simplest way of an SMS and mail OTP is a simple signature, but when fulfilling some requirements, it can be considered advanced.